order. Is anyone not here except for Karen Schultz? We are good. I'm not gonna you want me to call everybody's name? No.
I think you should, yes,
Yeah.
for open meeting law.
Robert requires it.
Yeah.
Bob's rules. Am I not Bob? Lori Fairbay,
Here.
John Barrett.
Here.
Here.
Kate Bliss is here. Yeah.
Bob Blair here. So we have 5 of the 6. Now we'll have 5 of the 7.
Any discussions, questions? What do we?
Thank you for showing interest in joining the
Yes.
Council
Yeah.
on Aging.
You're welcome. It's like one of those things I've just been in it so much for the past 14 years, and it's just, it's a shame to and I do information referral. It's something that the community needs, and I've been on lots of boards and stuff like that, and like at the, even at UMass, it's more about creating culture and having book readings about, disabilities. It's not about solving problems for, people in the community. So this is, when I was on the Marlboro Commission on Disabilities, I was able to do that, and now I hope to do that here too.
Great.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that sounds great.
What got you into, so I know I understand just from our conversation on Saturday, sort of all your background working and then how that turns to disabled people and older people, but what got you into that line of work?
So I used to actually run a concrete construction company. My degree is in computer networking. I just by chance had a friend starting a construction company, and we did concrete, and it blew up. And then when 2008 hit, I was like, what am I doing? Because the construction economy fell apart.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, let me go back to what I'm supposed to be doing. So there was an opportunity at the Eunice Kennedy Shriver Center, which I was hired as a part-time business analyst. And then my first job was really taking a website called disabilityinfo.org and redeveloping it to make it more useful for the public. And I did that, and my other project was a child behavioral health initiative. So I designed the system that all child behavioral health providers for children in Mass Health, they have to be certified to provide those assessments. So I provide the training, or the training I designed provides that training on how to do what they're called CANs, so a child assessment.
So when you did all this, was a lot of your interactions with technical people or with the users?
So it was both. So my group at Shriver is called Index, and we're a revenue center. Our job's to go get money, and then we pay our salaries from after the university takes their indirect and all that. So if there's a shortfall, we lay people off. We're not funded at all by the university. So our projects were unique to the university, where if you have $1 million project, you have this giant team on top of you and all this bureaucracy in the middle, where with my group, we self-manage. So I am directly in front of the clients. When there were problems up until recently, when there were problems with the website, just division of duties, just because we're a big group and can only do so much. I would actually handle calls from people who were in the community. For example, there was a woman in Littleton who had become blind, and she had a job offer to go work at Framingham State. I'm sure you know what the public transportation situation is when you want to go north to south versus east to west. And it was a 3-hour train ride and bus ride and all of that for her, and it wasn't 6 hours of commuting time for a day wasn't worth it. So we'll Catch Connect or the MWRTA, finding MCB to help kick in some resources for Uber, things like that. So we come up with some pretty unique stuff. When I first started my job, my reference was actually Bob Durand, the former state senator. He found out what I was doing. He sat me down with Jamie Eldridge on probably my first month on the job, and he said, well, Derek, you're in Jamie's world now. And since then, I've been going to the senior conference and helping out volunteering there, sitting down with seniors and actually going through the website and helping them find referrals to things they may be looking for. But yeah, I've done everything from the proposal proposal, to the contract, to the website and application development, to supporting users. Right now, I support, my team of about 4 of us support just under 500,000 online users between our different systems.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
And that has sort of parlayed into the geriatric population as well?
So it's always been so the ADRC network is how the disability and the older adult population, get access to services, and they've always been intertwined. So I've never really divided the two.
Mm-hmm.
I know for eligibility, enrollment, you have to, divide them, but it's really access to the same EOHHS agency. You just need to find the right services. And then I designed Mass Options, so I was on the leadership team for that. And it's kind of like, like the no wrong door. Do you need to, what's your door? DDS, age, the ILC, what's the ASAP for this area? Not Springwell.
Aging Services, North Central Mass.
North Central, yes. So it's about getting them to the right door and doing that. But I don't know if I answered your question.
You did.
Okay.
You did. Yeah. Okay. That was perfect. Thank you.
You serve a somewhat smaller clientele than a million.
Now, one of our systems actually is the DDS for Pennsylvania. So we have about 300,000 learners on that system, and their Office of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Oh, wow.
So behavioral health is a big thing I do too.
DDS sounds like dentists. What is it?
I have to refer to DMR. Come on, Bob. No, it's Department of Developmental Services. Jamie Eldridge's his aide, one of his lead aides was somebody with an ID who actually wrote the legislation to get DMR removed out of the legislative text in Massachusetts, which was pretty cool. But yeah, what we find is, or I guess lecture about design, not just web design, but inclusive design for people with cognitive deficiencies, impairments. So we found a lot of the stuff we do for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities also serves the older adult population, just because it's, something as simple as a visual impairment, an acquired disability. Some websites have just a white background, and you get to a point where looking at it looks like you're trying to read something in headlights. So we do a lot. Web accessibility is my other thing. So, yeah, my former boss actually helped to write all the new standards for the low vision population and the new requirements with EOTS and.
Now, so we have a website that we've been working on, and she's been great with Mary Reddington to work with her. Can you help me if that becomes something of a page that we need to kind of go more towards the
legally.
reading difficulty thing?
Well, legally, it does need to go under a website accessibility review.
Okay.
Unless you're a website expert and you just knew about it and did it, but by law, it's required. You're supposed to have. If it doesn't, you put a reasonable accommodation. Say, hey, if you need an accommodation for any reason, I don't know, maybe your screen's too tall and you can't read it, and you need somebody to advocate for a stool. We don't care.
Yeah, just something.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe you're an English language learner. Maybe we'll do whatever the accommodation is, and then you meet the text of the law. Is it the best solution? Let's say you have 1,000 people who need one-on-ones. You don't have the resources for that. Now you're discriminating.
Okay.
So yeah, we do a lot of that. CVS and Walgreens got sued about their COVID vax appointment.
Okay.
And the Disability Law Center came to Shriver Center, and I was the expert that went through and showed them where all the deficiencies were, what they had to fix. And it wasn't about any technical stuff. It was about the process. They pass with flying colors when you run the accessibility tests. What happens is if you're someone who's blind using a screen reader, it reads it out loud. You'd select the pharmacy you want, then you select the day you want, then you select the times you want. You realize that pharmacy doesn't have your times. You need to back all the way out,
Right.
listen to all that, go back in, maybe it's a different pharmacy, maybe it's a different day. It's just
It
so.
was a lot to process if you're just trying to.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
And that's an example of just somebody with a screen reader kind of exacerbating or putting on display what other people experience who don't use screen readers, because they're just doing that cognitively.
So you
Yeah,
have,
it's
sounds like you have a lot of experience with
Right, without having to.
humans and technology.
That's exactly what it is.
Basically, and how to adapt it and et cetera.
Yep, assistive technology too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
if anyone ever needs a piece of assistive technology, Easter Seals, I work with the director's wife.
Okay.
So yeah, they have a great AT resource center. Maybe somebody needs a single switch device or something like
Right,
that,
right,
and you can go out there and test out the different ones and see which ones work best for you. I know so many programs. It's like, and not just that, I've worked on so many, it's gonna be insufferable to the point where I say, oh, I worked on this, I worked on that. Everything
Gotta
from
go
the Mass
back.
Health Training Forum, where it trains people how to train other people to get access to Mass Health.
Tell you, that's a
Yeah, that is.
difficult one to.
You should
Go
go
through.
back and get referral fees, you know.
I'm a public servant, I'm a state employee. I'm not going to jail for that.
Have your funds been affected by what's going on at the national level?
My department has done very well. We've actually, we dug in, we got more funding. The medical school is facing some significant shortfalls just because of delays in awards. It's not like they went out and said, you're taking this grant away, you're not getting it anymore. It's just more the cycle went through and there's just nothing coming out of the other
Right.
end, where they don't know if they've canceled it, or, so what do you do at that point? But yeah, I'm thinking, I think I heard $100 million next year and $50 million this year.
Wow, federal funds are being cut.
Yeah, mostly from federal funds. There's other things that
Wow.
affect it, but yep, NIH mostly.
So
Well,
how does all your knowledge, do you feel, trickle down to what a local COA like Berlin does or aspires to do?
So when you're working directly with individuals, residents in the community, a lot of what they do is nuanced. You don't know exactly what they need if you don't know what programs A, B, and C do. Because some programs say you're eligible if you're not eligible for these programs first. It's really cutting down the goose chase of what needs to be done and knowing which door that individual needs to go to. It's not, I don't see it the COA's job always to find a program for this person. It's our job to find the people who are experts in finding the programs for these people. And making sure that it's not treated as a one-off, but more as a case. So if you send somebody over to Mass Options, they do the questionnaire, there's a warm handoff to the ASAP or the Independent Living Center. And then once that person, once the agent on the phone knows that somebody is handling it and they're going in the right direction, then they drop off. And it should be the same way from that ASAP to the provider itself. So I really want to unlock access to services
That's
for the
excellent.
community.
That's excellent.
I think
Yeah.
just for me as the director, I think having your connections and your relationships with like Office of Elder Affairs, Developmental Services. I mean, I think for me, it's a huge resource to have, because we are, for lack of a word, we are a resource center. I'm not a professional in many facets of licensing and stuff like that, and so to have those other connections where you already have the bond with them and to tell me where they can go for more information is helpful too.
Yeah. I met with the undersecretaries actually this morning about their new learning management system. I'll be meeting with them later in the week again, following up. They're always willing to hear things, especially adult protective services.
Yeah.
Bree Cunningham is she's basically an undersecretary. I don't know why. She's on the same level as them, but she doesn't have that title.
Okay.
But she is amazing with anything that I've ever asked for. And then I used to talk all the time and have one-on-ones with Carol Malone when she was the undersecretary, she was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
It's knowing those people. It's getting to those people that are great.
Yeah.
Is part of the challenge that the outside world
Find-
directors
finding
and other
those
people,
people,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes it's
Networking.
like something's emergent and you need to chase it from the bottom and the
Yeah.
top at the same
Yeah,
time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's a great
Right.
role to have with you.
I think the overlap
Yeah.
to what we do, what we would like to do, what we don't know yet, what we
Right,
wanna
right,
do, you know,
right.
like, this is great.
Yeah, so I guess like if we're, you know, getting down to things, it's more about like what needs have we identified that are going unserved in the community and what is the priority level, meaning what impact is not having that need on that person versus another person. If someone doesn't have transportation to go to a recreational program versus someone not having transportation to a medical appointment, those are two completely different things, so.
But I think you bring something to the table that I've always been perplexed about in working on the business side is you understand the system. Let me tell you.
Yep.
Give me a compass and someone who understands that, we can do things. And that's incredibly valuable,
Yep.
Yeah.
particularly for small towns like us.
Of course, and you know, we can't lobby, I'm a state employee,
Yeah.
I can lobby at all, but it, sometimes that deters people from talking to legislators about what the problems are. You're not lobbying, you are explaining what the program is, and if whatever they decide to do out of their own will, that's what they do, but, yeah, I grew up in politics, and so, I'm not,
You still
I've-
sound coherent though.
Yeah. It's hard to keep your mind. That's not for small town government.
I think, we, just to give you a little bit of background, sort of where we are, how we got to where we are right now. Melissa has been with us for 10 months?
Yeah,
About
10
a year.
months?
10 months, yeah.
As a director, as a COA director. And previous to Melissa arriving, the activity was somewhat limited as to what we could offer or what we were offering seniors. And so Melissa has been working very hard to try and increase those opportunities for activities, to erase isolation, all of that. Working very hard right now on our transportation conundrum that has gone on for a while. So our role has sort of been to support her in those efforts. But I think now we're starting to get some movement along those lines. People are starting to recognize that now there are opportunities, whereas before, I think we were sort of a bit of a forgotten entity. So I think that, this is just my opinion, opens us up as Melissa makes more progress to looking at other things, as John said, how else can we then serve? I can see you having a role right now in supporting Melissa as far as individuals who may call her or reach out to her, or a family member reach out to her for support. We tend to work more globally, not necessarily with individuals. But I think, as Melissa starts to identify more of the things that are coming into her, and we strive to support that and support the elders in the community, that maybe there could be other ideas of things that we could be doing that are, more active.
My mother-in-law actually lives in Northbrook.
Ah.
I don't know if you know Teresa. She can be a handful at times, but I love her.
She's a nice handful.
She is. But it's we're an open meeting. I'm not gonna. No, it's about her getting the right services, and just
Yep.
like anybody else, if someone doesn't have the right supports, or their meds get changed, or anything that they need a community around them. And I'm thankful that there was a community around the latest thing that happened, and fortunately she got some help. It was no fault of her own. It was a mistake by a provider, and it resulted in her.
And where do you go, right? You're panicked, you have
Yeah.
anxiety about your situation, and what do you do? Who do you go to? Who do you contact? And I think that's,
Yep.
we can at least start being able to direct them in the right way.
That's how you build
With-
trust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, I think that'll be a great crossover.
But on the other side too, it's about like, and I don't want to call it a low priority, but it's the enrichment stuff. It's, you know, the practicality of having a community garden there at Northbrook versus having them have to go to the
Yeah,
community
no, I
garden.
agree.
Yep.
Yeah,
Little
I
things
agree.
like that, or just making Northbrook a little bit, I know it's a residence where people live, but just a little bit more of a community open air center. It's, I really wish I saw a lot more, you know, events where the neighbors are getting together to know each other.
Mhm.
It's a lot of passing on the street, hi, they happen to be outside, but there's nothing driving them together.
Yeah.
And
And I think that's where
Yeah.
we're trying to do that because I keep saying, you know, when you're a kid, like my 9-year-old specifically is like, well, who of my friends is going to be there? And then like at my age, I'm like, I don't care who's there.
exactly
I'm
what you
going
were
to go.
saying yesterday.
Yes,
Or
and then all of a
Saturday,
sudden,
yes.
and so you get back to that age where you're like, well, is my neighbor going to be there, or you know, is it just going to be people from the 3rd floor, you know? So
Yeah.
I think these are all things that,
Yeah.
the isolation, getting them out. I love the idea of it, like a garden there
Yeah.
instead of. I mean, a lot of people are without transportation. They can't get to that garden. They can't, you know, get to other places. So I think that's
Yeah, and I
some
understand.
good ideas.
I understand where Tom comes from with wanting things clean and easy to maintain, because at the end of the day, if everyone has their own vegetable garden against their own property, they're gonna have to hire another landscaper,
Right,
and that's
right.
less resources that go around.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't say, you can't have this. It's, you can't have this, but we're gonna give you an alternative that is
Right.
just
Let's
as
see
close
what
to
we can
equal.
do.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
agreed.
And I think that's where, for us, the Council on Aging is where we say, okay, how can we help this community? Can we give you a donation of $100 to help a landscaper, or can we get them the seeds to plant their stuff, or you know, just whatever it is. And I think that's what this group is kind of focusing on is helping.
Yep. Yeah, it's something as simple as starting with a planter drive. Does anyone have pre-made planters that they're willing to donate, and you give a couple
I
specs
am
from
sure
Lowe's?
people do.
And yeah, it's, you know, someone has to take the lead and get the
Yeah.
momentum going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll say they've been pretty good. Northbrook 2, I don't have a lot of experience with Northbrook 1, but we do have a gentleman that is on the board, so we can get his ear with that after. But projects and stuff, I think it's just reaching out to them and getting their, you know, cooperation too. You know,
Mhm.
coming up with ideas. So I love that. I love your
Like I said,
initiative and your thoughts, and yeah.
I hear it from my mother-in-law. She was upset that she couldn't have a garden anymore,
Yeah.
and I was just like, you know, I understand, but I also understand both sides of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you have any questions for us?
Is there anything? So, I guess this. I don't know if this is for open meeting, but if there are any individuals that are in search for services that they haven't gotten, I think that would be a priority. But other than that, I'll get to know you guys.
I honestly don't have names,
Yeah.
so it'll be, I think that's something really good that we could work on
Alright.
together. Just talking to people in the community, you know, the wellness check and stuff like that, but yeah, yeah. I don't know any right now, but.
Do you have any questions about how we operate or anything like that?
Robert's Rules of Order, right?
Yeah.
All right, Bob, you're in
I think
charge.
Bob already got to him.
One point I'd make is I had a friend no longer with us, but he had this little card that he would hand out, and it said, abjure obfuscation. In other words, don't make things more complicated than they need to be.
Yeah.
I would hope, when you are talking with us, based on all your experience with state government and so forth, all your connections, that you don't talk in acronyms, because you start talking about the BAS and the DART, I'm kind of,
Yep.
I don't even know what
That's a
state
good
we're in.
I forget that we talk in
You gotta dumb it
acronyms
down
in the
to us.
government. No, it's just, it's absurd. We have,
Well, all of them, yeah.
and then like some things have the same acronyms, and it's like, what are you?
Which one?
ASAP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was thinking of a different one,
I'm
but
like,
I knew
oh.
it didn't fit.
Yeah, so I mean, this is now after the discussion for the vote, and,
I don't have any other questions. questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, if you, we appreciate all of your input for
Yeah,
sure. And
absolutely,
we'll,
absolutely.
once, we'll finish up here and then Melissa will get back to you, or Bob will get back to you as to.
I'll whistle as you drive by.
I drive by Bob 100 times a day. I see him more than my own family. I work from home, so it's like I'll go to get my coffee and then come back, go for lunch, and yeah.
Sure.
Do they pay you to do this work?
So you live on Summers?
Yep, I built my house I started in 2018, I finished in 2020. It was like right during COVID, I was very
I live
fortunate.
across the street.
Oh, you're the one up, okay, you're with the truck,
Co-housing.
what?
The co-housing.
Oh, you're in the co-housing,
Right,
okay.
right.
Yep.
So you're on Summer Street too?
No.
I'm on Village Lane, which is
Oh, okay.
parallel to
Yeah.
Summer Street.
Yeah, okay.
No,
Yep.
no, it's Sawyer Hill, Summer.
Yeah.
Village.
Does anyone know the history of the campground on Sawyer Hill?
No,
120 Sawyer Hill.
no, I'd love to hear that.
I found it. I was chasing my cows. So my cows have
I love
gotten
to hear
out in the neighborhood, and I've had to chase them through the eco village, and
Okay.
I ended up in a campground in the middle
No
of
wonder
the
you
woods.
fit right in
Right.
here.
I also grew up playing soccer for Henry Wheeler. I went to school with
Oh,
his
really? Yeah.
kids my
Yeah.
whole life, and I was on the team when he first built his shop.
Mm.
So before the house was built, all of it. So yeah, we
That's not a shop, that's a partial residence,
Is there-
partial.
is there a tenant
business,
there?
partial-
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Henry had a living quarters on one side of it,
Yeah, boss.
and then, Steve after him.
Yeah, Steve.
And the people who are there now are definitely doing a business, and I don't know if they sleep in some space in there enough times during the month that it makes it legal, but
Interesting.
I don't think it's conforming somehow.
We won't be policing that
No,
as
that's
the COA
not-
board.
Oh, I've been at the other side of that. Well, yeah, it's I like what the people are actually doing with Ruth's property.
Mm.
It's one of those things. If you're gonna explain those roof lines like in narrative form, I'd be like, it sounds like a disaster, and then it all comes together like on that hill, like going behind Scott's house.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy they did a horse farm. It's what belongs in the town.
We were
But
happy.
Wheeler's
agriculture.
Wheeler sisters wanted
We were
also.
very happy. We were
The
very
family
happy.
didn't want that developed as a 6 McMansions either.
Yeah.
Yep. Or imagine if we fell below 40B
Yeah.
and somebody just happened to have it.
Should we?
Take a
Yes.
look.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well, I think
Yes.
we should, we probably should discuss, we
Mhm.
can excuse
So-
Derek, but we appreciate you
Derek,
coming
thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
appreciated.
And,
I'll-
and then.
I'll let
we,
you know what
Okay.
All right.
I think it looks pretty.
next steps are.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me, and then I'll see you. It's Mondays.
No, it'll be
Okay.
Tuesdays. Yeah. Yep.
All right, sounds good.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care.
Take care.
We didn't say if I put a blue flag out front if it's yes and a orange flag if it's no.
Yeah, I'm sorry to do that, but you wouldn't generally do a vote with him sitting.
Right.
No,
No, no,
we
no.
can't do
No,
that.
absolutely.
That's-
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we probably could have gone on for
That was the
hours
right thing
about.
to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
that
That's
was
good.
good.
So
Okay, we might
it's
do
up to.
I think he'd be a great asset to our
Yeah, I
board.
agree. I
I
think he's
agree.
super.
Mhm.
He
Super
brings
addition.
a lot of experience, which is,
And connections.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
misunderstanding. I don't understand the state system, and that would really.
It's not a good
excel.
one, I can tell
It's
you.
yeah.
Well,
It's
business isn't
it's hard
either,
to
but-
navigate.
It's
as
very
the
hard to
state,
navigate,
especially
very
the
hard.
elder section of it.
Yeah,
So I think, like I said earlier, for me, having his knowledge and his
right, precisely.
connections
Yeah,
um,
the combination, yeah.
and
Right.
another
So
person
if
to
you
kind
hit
of
a
move it from
wall-
here to
Yeah.
up here,
Yeah.
it would
No,
just
that's-
benefit Berlin residents.
That's great, that's great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he offers obviously a lot. I'm not sure, and I think he can be a tremendous resource for you.
Mhm.
I totally agree he should join. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I don't know if he's going to be, board.
bored at the pedestrian nature of the things that we have to deal with.
Exactly, of like, you know, I
He
think,
may be
That's a
looking
reality.
for some of that.
maybe,
You know
maybe.
what I mean?
You know, he was talking so much about sort of as if we sit around and just assist individuals in the community, which is obviously where he would be very
Right,
helpful. But, I mean, he seems willing, so but I,
fresh ideas.
yeah, he
that's-
does,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice, yeah,
Well, we only meet once a month, so.
right. Yeah,
We're not killing people with time commitment.
Yeah.
no. And I think now things are taking off, so the timing is kind of good for new ideas. Yeah.
I just stopped recording because I was like, I let them
Do we need to?
tell me what we need, what violation, but I feel like it's like an executive
We can't,
Yeah.
no,
thing. I
agree
don't
with
think,
you.
I
Do
don't
we
think
have
we
to
should
say
be.
we're going into?
I declare an executive session in process.
Mm.
I get- You want to turn that
And
on for just one
That
second?
was
like-
6 or
Yeah.
4:30. Sorry,
Ready to take a
I
vote?
just assumed I should
I
take
think
notes.
so.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Even though
I like,
there's
yeah,
not
but then we can at
many
least
notes.
attach those minutes to it that say executive session.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, Kate Bliss,
I,
Linda Robinson,
Aye,
Lori Fairbay,
I,
John Barrett,
Aye,
Bob Blair, aye.
Okay, done.
nice.
The ayes have it.
he's really gonna be helpful,
Yeah, I think you will.
really, it's gonna be helpful. It's like, I'm here being conceptual, he's putting my feet on the ground, you know, and saying, okay, now.
And
you
it's,
know?
it's a wide range,
Yeah, he's really quite good, yeah.
but it's not. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, but he kind of has his hands in a whole lot
Yeah,
of things, and
yeah.
Plus, he's good with
You know.
cows. That's all.
and that's all, yeah.
Right to farm
At
community.
some point,
Right.
that will be helpful to us.
so did you get him in here, or
No? No?
was it the
Well,
mother-in-law
take credit
situation?
for it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He just, he emailed me and said, I saw your vacancy post and
Wow,
I'd like to apply, and I said, you just gotta send me the application and the resume, and so we'll do with it what you need. I like to, and this is not, no offense to but getting younger people too,
Absolutely.
because I feel like it does more outreach on the younger, like your parents, your grandparents, you know,
Right.
if you're talking to your friends and now he's talking to his,
Right.
you know, friends about the
It's
council on aging and
encouraging
whatever.
different demographics to engage.
His
Yes,
friends go, oh,
absolutely,
that's how I
absolutely.
can help my mom. Oh,
Yeah.
that's how I can help
Yeah.
my
Right.
grandmother or something. You know, like I was
Yeah.
talking about my grandmother the other
Yeah.
day, and I think it's a good mix to have
I totally
Absolutely.
those that are
Yeah.
using the
Absolutely, yes.
resources, and then those that you know.
Or they could be sitting
Can
in town
do.
meeting and think, oh, we should restore the funding for their driver.
Well, and I think, and yeah, I mean, if they know that Derek's part of it as a younger,
Yeah.
they're not just looking at the school. They're looking at,
Yeah.
oh, well, if Derek's involved with the council on aging, then he's got some input and
Well, they
you know,
trust
what they're
him
doing.
because they know him, yeah.
Yeah.
They're willing to take
Yeah.
the risk.
Yeah.
Were you not wanting to discuss
we can only
meeting?
discuss Derek, his appointment. That's it.
Okay.
Right now, we shouldn't be talking about anything.
Okay, we didn't talk about anything.
Nope. We'll just pretend.
All right, let's
Okay.
adjourn.
Recorded
I
since
make
we
a
adjourned.
motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
Okay, are we adjourned? We're officially adjourned.
I
Adjourned.
second.
Second.
4:34.